A very good morning to all my dear viewers once again, and welcome to another live talk with GETI under the Disruptive Education Movement initiated by Dr. Sunita Gandhi. And today we have with us Mr. L. Santhosh Kumar, an accomplished educator, very passionate to bring change in society. He's pursuing his PhD from Bharathasan University and he completed his MPhil from University of Madras. He has presented his research papers at national and international level and has worked as an assistant professor of English at Dr. NGP Arts and Science College. He has attended a number of workshops at various levels and has been a guest speaker and discussed about topics like emerging facets of English literature, student enrichment program with the Literary Association function at the Department of English Government Arts College. These are just to name a few. The list is quite long about his achievements, and he has joined us today to talk on something very interesting. Well, we all know if you want something new, you have to stop doing something old and be more creative. So, talk about the same. I think I would like to invite Mr. Santhosh without taking much time. A very warm welcome to you once again, and viewers are all yours. Over to you.
Okay. Good morning to all, and good morning, ma'am. First of all, I record my thanks to the GETI Institute for giving me an opportunity to deliver a talk via FB live streaming, and I'm also happy to be part of this disruptive education movement. As we all know, a true educationist wants a reformative change. A reformative change should be radical in approach. By doing so, what happens is that everyone gets benefit. Everyone will be benefited, and the outcome is that we are giving our good graduates to our country, and that is the order of the day. And the topic today here, I'm just going to enlighten here is on lateral thinking. Lateral thinking is the order of the day. Nowadays, we often face a complaint from the educational consultants or from the career consultants who offer a decent job to the graduates. And after the recruitment or after the campus date gets over, they often say a complaint. In other words, what they put a very diplomatic statement stating that in a country like India, where we have a lot of youths or manpower, and we have more driving force among the youngsters. And Indians, they say that they undergo the problem of unemployment, whereas it is not true so. That is what the career consultants and the educational consultants they believe. They say that problem in a country like us, like in India, is that we don't have skilled employees. Okay, we have got more jobs, but for that jobs we do not have any skilled employees. So to eradicate, in other words, what I can say is that if you want to produce, or if you want our nation to be filled with skilled employees, for that we need to improve our thinking. In other words, we should think laterally. In the words of Edward D. Bono, it is called as lateral thinking. I just want to share my screen here. Yeah, as I said before, my topic here today, it will be on lateral thinking. And the term lateral thinking, it was invented or in other words, what we can say is that it is coined by Edward D. Bono. And lateral thinking. What do you mean by this lateral thinking? Lateral thinking, it is not a phenomenon which is new in the academic circle. It is a phenomenon which has been existing for so many years. And late in the 2000s and in the 1990s, people started to talk about lateral thinking. In other words, we have to be different. Our thought process and our attitude should be different. If you want to achieve something, we should be different from others. That is the basic thing. That is the basic thing where everyone says. And to put it technically, their statements comes from the origin called lateral thinking. And what do you mean by lateral thinking? As I said before, it is just thinking outside the box or think outside the box. We have to be creative. One should be creative in his approach. Here, I would just like to share some of my personal experiences. Do not think that just by sharing my personal experiences, I'll just while away my time. It is not so. My personal experience in terms of academia. Okay, I'm a guy who had been labeled as remedial in my school days. Okay, as we all know, in our school days, the students, those who score very good marks, they all come under this category called high achievers. And the medium level, they are said to be steady group. And the people those are below average, those people are said to be, they come under the category called remedial students. And I'm the one, and one among that category called remedial students. And the reason why I'm called remedial is that it is not that I just think different. The reason is that I do not score very good marks. That is what that is the very painful thing coined by the academic circles. If a guy doesn't score a good marks, or if or if he or she is not up to the expectation, then they are said to be in terms of academics, they are called slow learners or remedial groups. And to be frank, our education system, we still believe in the words of Lord Macaulay. Lord Macaulay is the one who just coined the education system for us. He's the one who just labeled it, and we have been just following him. Whatever thing he has implemented it, and we are just following it. And still, we say that we are independent India, but yet then, before now, we have a new educational policy has been invented. Has been sorry, I should not say invented. It has been framed by the government of India along the support of MHRD. Before that, still now, we had been following the process of the colonized education system. And since if a graduate, if a student, if he or she doesn't score above 60, then they are said to be a slow learners. Or even if they, or even if they do not score the minimum marks, then they are so-called the remedial students or slow learners. And the problem is that the so-called intellectuals, the so-called study learners, even those people, they score very good marks. But when it comes to thinking, they lack. I'm very sorry to tell this. At the same time, I would also like to register here is that it is not that every student, okay, it's not that every student who scores first mark in the class, it doesn't mean that he or she doesn't have, they do not have any creative thinking. I'm not saying like that. The majority of them, they just lack in, the majority of them, they just lack in thinking creatively. And our education system in the past, it was of the view that whatever we study and whatever we vomit in the examination sheet, whatever vomit in the examination answer sheets, and we will get a grade. Only that grade determines our attitude. It is not so like that. So many things are there apart from marks, or apart from the classification of a student and labeling him as high achiever, remedial, or a study group. That doesn't define the individual characteristics. That doesn't define the unique identity of an individual. Whereas what make him to be unique, or what makes him to be different from others. In other words, in terms of entrepreneurship, how he is said to be a good product in the sense that how creative he is. That is said to be the lateral thinking. As I mentioned in this slide, you have to just think outside the box. And how to improve one's own lateral thinking, because right from the good old past still now, we have got so many people, they themselves call them as soft skill trainers. and there are so many people there and so many other people they call themselves as we are the language trainers, like that stuff. And to be honest, whatever it is, every skill is being inbuilt within oneself. And the role of here, I just want to mention here, I just want to highlight one point here is that, as I said a few seconds back, every skill is being inbuilt within an individual. The role of a good teacher is to bring out that. The role of a good teacher is not to make a student to score good marks, or it is not to make or it is not make a student to excel his caliber only by making him to get centum in all subjects. It is not so. Just to bring out the hidden talent within every student. And you might ask
Mr.
me,
Santhosh,
yeah,
your the slides are not changing. We're still on the first one, I guess.
no, it is coming for me. It is showing here.
Maybe you
Can you
can
see?
just select the slide once again wherever you are like talking about.
Just a minute. Can you see my slides now?
No, sir. Maybe you can try sharing once again.
Yeah, just a minute. I'm just sorry for this unexpected technological glitch. Can you see my
Yes, we
screen
can
now?
see your presentation again.
Now?
Yeah, that's the first slide, lateral thinking, the introduction
Yeah.
slide.
Next.
Yeah. Try, uh,
Can you see? Can
no,
you
sir,
see
it's
my
not
next slide?
changing. No, not yet. It's not changing.
Oh,
Maybe you can select uh, instead of using the.
okay. Just a minute. Okay. Can you see now? Can you see my?
Yes, sir.
Can you see the slide now, ma'am?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Now.
Yes,
Now.
perfect, 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 sir.
Okay. 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 Sorry for this unexpected technological glitch. I didn't expect
Mhm.
this. Sorry. Okay, and as I said before, the role of a good teacher is to just to bring out the hidden potential of a student. That is, a good teacher should not judge a student only through his or her marks, whereas a teacher should judge the student potential by using certain strategies. Okay, whereas people might here question me that how it is possible for a teacher to bring out the potential of every student. For example, a classroom is being with 60 students, and how it is possible for a teacher to bring out. Of course, it is possible for a teacher. when he or she does not stick only to the syllabus which is allotted to her. Apart from that, if he or she dedicate or devote time for their own children, I mean for their students, it will be easy for them to bring out the hidden potential of every student. And one of the basic technique in lateral thinking is that uh, students should be aware of what is happening in and around. For example, a student, for example, a student, uh, he or she should not stick only to the subject which they are learning. That is not the order of the day. Whereas the order of the day, it expects every graduate should be should be multidisciplinary. That is, they should have different multitudes. Only through that, their potential is being brought to limelight. And the simple thing is that the thought process should be effective, in the sense that how it is possible for a student to make his or her own thought process to be effective is that a simple thing is that they should be their thinking should be highly different. If a problem is being presented to a student, okay, if a problem is being presented to a student, problem in the sense that for example, a conflict, for example, as we all know, most of the recruiting agencies, what do they do is that they just present a problem to the candidates, and the recruitment agencies, they ask the students to come out with different solving techniques. And for that student, he or she need not go for a particular class, or he or she need not google it to learn it. Simple thing is that they should start thinking in the sense everyone can think. As a human being born in this world, everyone can think. How our thinking is different from others, only that matters. And then next is that okay, next thing what I can say is that thing is called a random stimulations. And here in the slide you could see is that not sticking on to a particular mode. Here the best example is that, for example, a student who is going to school, and he or she if he or she is on if he or she is doing their 10th or SSLC or higher secondary examinations, their motto is that, okay, instead of saying their motto, the student, they think that their only duty is just to score good marks, and by getting good marks they can just elevate to next level. That's what they're thinking, and that thinking is not the order of the day, and that thinking is not a positive or a healthy thing. That is what the education is, they are striving at. What they are saying is that a student should first, he or she should try to come out of their comfort zone. For example, if a student, if he is good in academics, okay, good in the academics in the sense here I just put it in quotes. If a student is said to be good in academics, it doesn't mean that only by scoring marks it is not he or she is good in academics. Academics is of very different multitudes. Here I had one of my friends personal experience. He just shared it to me, and I think that will be apt for the term lateral thinking. My friend, he's the one who did his engineering studies, and after completing it, he just attended a campus interview. In that, one of the basic thing in campus interview is that they will just look at our percentage, how much we have scored right from our 10th till our college study, and also how different we are. Like that, they were asking so many questions, and he was able to come out. And one, they asked him a question. They asked him a question, and where he was not able to answer. Do you know what was that question? The person who was in the recruitment, right? He asked him a question. Can you define rectifier? Since he belongs to a mechanical engineering stream, the question which was put forth to him is that, can you define rectifier? And he just presented it. He just gave a very good answer as how it was in the book, without omitting any quotation or any full stop, without omitting any punctuations. He just said whatever it is. And the next question asked him is that was, see, we are in a campus drive, we are in a recruitment drive. In this room, where we have so many electrical appliances, can you find out where is rectifier in this room? And student and my friend, very sorry to say, he just said that, dude, I was not able to locate it. Can you understand? He said that I'm not able to locate it. I do not know where the rectifier is. He told me with very strong hearted, with a very sense of guilt. He told me that, So many years of education taught me only to mug up what is in the book, whereas it doesn't. It did not teach me how to be creative. And my answer to Miss that was education will not teach you to be creative. It is only see education motto of the see whatever things is being presented in textbook that is said to be the part of curriculum. Here we people we are making a mistake. What mistake we are making is that whatever thing is being presented in the textbook, only those stuffs are said to be the part of education. That is not so. Education, right from our behavior, in other words, right from our attitude, discipline, everything comes under the roof called education. Scoring marks from doesn't come under education. So here, this is what the random simulation. I hope can get it here. A guy can answer the definition for rectifier, whereas he or she cannot able to locate the rectifier in the room. So another thing is that, as I said before, come up in life or to think laterally, we should just come out of our comfort zone. That is the basic thing here. And next, what are the alternatives? The thing is that our mind should be broad in thinking. For example, gone are those days where gone are those days where people think that if we score good marks, we will be placed, or we can get we can get admission in a decent college or the place where I desire to pursue my undergraduate or postgraduate or whatever studies it is. It is not so because whatever marks we score in our school or in colleges, all those marks they are said to be just they'll be just in a piece of paper almost all over India. It is very clear. Okay, even if we complete our school studies, even if you want to pursue our MBBS, we have to just clear this exam called NEET. And if you want to pursue our engineering studies, we have to crack this AEEE or JE. Or even if you want to pursue in a arts degree in terms of any subjects, every college, every arts and science college in Tamil Nadu or all over India, they're conducting entrance tests. These entrance tests, they do not screen us not only through our marks, they also screen us what we have imbibed in so many years. Okay, and for almost all the entrance examination tests, they are the questions which are asked. Almost all the questions are creative, and sometimes they are like rapid fire. They just trigger our mind like anything else. The subject what we study, okay, the subject what we have studied, even from that too, questions can be very critical. Critical in the sense that it makes us to thinkers. The questions which are being asked in the competitive examinations make us to think radically. In other words, we should develop our presence of mind. Okay, for example, whatever is given in the textbook, okay, whatever given in the syllabi, we are just going it. And when it comes to a descriptive part, we people we just vomit it and we just come back. Whereas almost all the competitive examinations now, they just go by this pattern called MCQ, multiple choice question pattern. When that is the scenario, what happens is that we are forced to think. We are forced to think, and for that, the basic thing is that the role of a teacher is to make the students is to make the student community just to come out of their just to break the barriers. For example, very sorry to say, there's so many coaching centers. Okay, so many training centers are there. I mean, in terms of these competitive examinations, what they do is that they just prepare a question bank and they just give it to student community. And the saddest part is that these student folks, what they do is that they just go through the question banks. And what do they think is that since it's being a competitive examinations, question will be of various categories, and what is these coaching centers, what do they do is that they prepare a question bank, and the student, what they do is that they just mug up those question banks. And the truth is that the motto of all these competitive examinations is that so just to think our is just to check our ability in terms of thinking. And even by just going through the question banks and just mugging up, I'm very sorry to say, when by mugging up those stuffs and we are just cracking it, the motto of the examination is being wasted there. The motto of every competitive examinations, and why do they conduct examinations MCQ pattern is that is just to make us to think critically. And the people in the examination board, they know if it is descriptive, they will find more number of students, they will find more number of pass percentage. Whereas when it comes to the pattern of MCQ, it may, even though they know that the pass percentage will be very less, but yet then their only motto is that to make the students to realize that if they think critically and creatively, they can crack these examinations. And as I said before, to crack these examinations, there are so many centers are coming, so many centers are there, and these centers, what do they do is that they just grab, they just block the students' by thinking mindset. They just give a particular question bank, and and they are making students to crack it. That is not the order of the day. See, giving a lecture or teaching the content what is in the book, it is not the essential trait for a teacher in the present scenario. Gone are those days. Whereas the role of a teacher, the present scenario is to make a student to be different. As I'm repeating this statement, the role of a teacher in the modern times is to bring out the hidden potential within every student. Not everyone born is a genius. At the same time, everyone is born with a different purpose, and everyone is being inbuilt with a different talent. They can be different. Okay, there are multitudes. A student's capacity will be of different multitudes, but at the same time, it is the duty of a teacher to encourage the student community. It is not that only by looking at a student's appearance. I'm very sorry to register this. I had some personal experiences because some of my school teachers, they just criticized at my back, stating the fact that by looking at my appearance and like that stuff. That is not the order of the day. People doesn't give job to you by looking at your appearance. Your appearance in the sense that your dress code matters, not by just looking at your face. It is not like that stuff. Your way of thinking. Okay. And another thing, what I just want to say here is that I just want to differentiate here the term hard skills and soft skills, because this term lateral thinking, it comes under this concept called soft skills. And in the contemporary times, the people, they often confuse that how both hard skills and soft skills, both they merge together. It is not so. Hard skills is nothing but what we learn. Okay, what we learn, that is what's said to be the hard skill. Whereas the soft skill is that our language part, the way how we dress ourselves, our presentation, and every other steps. Soft skill in the sense that uh, right from uh, uh, right from our brought up in the sense that how we are presenting ourselves, only those, and how different we are. All those things comes under the category called soft skills. And when it comes to hard skills, it is what we have learned and how we are going to apply it. That matters a lot here. And the present education system and the new education policy, it is for it. It is that application, whatever we have learned, how we are going to apply it. That is the order of the day. And next thing is that how lateral thinking can take place effectively in the classroom is that, as I said before, the role of a good teacher is not to complete the syllabus on time. At the same time, they have to brainstorm the student community within the four walls of the classroom. Okay, what I'm saying here is that for a teacher, an hour is being given to every day. An hour is being given. A teacher, what they can do is that for 40 minutes, they can take the class, and for remaining 15 to 20 minutes, they can brainstorm. They can brainstorm the entire class. Brainstorming in the sense that not only by bringing out the hidden talents, at the same time, whatever they are taught in the class of 40 minutes, they can ask questions in a brainstorming way. That is the thing. And in the brainstorming ways that, yes, as I before, you can give them a puzzle, or even you can just simply say, can you solve this, like that stuff. So many ways are there to bring out the hidden potential. Okay, my point here is that whatever is being given in the textbook, even that thing can be taught effectively by a teacher by using these kind of statistics. Okay, just presenting whatever it is in the textbook, that will not make a difference between that will not make any difference, because the present day student community, including me. We all of us are very much having aversion towards this thing called Google Guru. Google is said to be guru for every one of us. So the role of a teacher here is that whatever thing can Google do, teacher see whatever teacher can say, whatever teacher can present in a book, those things can be given to student community through Google. Apart from that, what a teacher should do is that first, teachers should think laterally. Teachers should master this concept called lateral thinking. I hope you can get it. The thing is that it is not a very difficult thing. See, lateral thinking, instead of thinking it, or instead of viewing it as a different entity, it should be thought as a need of the hour. Okay, lateral thinking is not something a new one. It is being inbuilt within us. A spark, a little spark can ignite so many student community like anything else. And as I often say that teachers is said to be the noble profession and the blessed profession where they can create so many igniting minds within the four walls of the classroom. And for that, first teacher should be ready to think radically. That is the thing. And next thing is that a teacher he should be ready to tune his or own senses. By doing so, they can make the student community to think critically and radically. And what I can tell you is that, as I said before, I'm a remedial student. Okay, I never feel hesitated to tell it because since I didn't score good marks in my school and I was below average, they just labeled me like that. But those marks did not define did not define me. Those things doesn't define did not determine my caliber. My cup of tea was very different, and I'm just shining it. That's all. If you ask me the question, in your school days you had been below average, and after coming to college, after pursuing uh, after pursuing your degree, I mean your choice of degree, do you think you've achieved in life? See, one very basic thing is that no one is said to be an authority in any field. As days keeps on progressing, each and everyone, including the teacher, the student, and everyone, if he or she wants to be authority, or if they want to be authority or specialists in their own fields, they have to just update themselves regularly. By doing so, what happened is that they are becoming a good entrepreneur in the sense that we are producing a good product in the job market. The world is like that. The world doesn't expect a graduate or a student just to have a very good marks. It doesn't mean that they do not want that. They just want how to, for example, if a company, okay, if a company is recruiting a candidate, means they're just looking at a candidate, how efficient he is, in the sense that through him can we fetch profits for organization, like that only they're looking at. And so for that, everything happens right from our school days. We have to tune our sense. Teachers should tune the student community. And first very basic thing is that teachers should be ready to redefine or to reassess their mode of teaching. Okay, I'm just stating it again. Teachers should be ready to redefine their mode of strategy, and they should reassess themselves. By doing so, what happens is that they can create miracles in the classroom. That is the thing. And if there's any questions, you can please ask me. I'm just ready to answer. And another thing is that uh, first first basic thing is that in the slide I mentioned that encourage them to ask questions. Teachers, please encourage your students to ask questions, because one of my personal experience is that so many questions were running in my mind. Okay, were running in my mind when I was doing my school days. But even if I ask any question, what was my teacher's attitude is that what question is going to ask? He himself is not learning properly. He's a below average guy. Whatever questions he asks, it is of very stupid in nature. That is not so. And even if I answer any question, or even if I ask them any question, they treat they treated me as an alien. So I just request all the teachers from the school who are working or going to work in school, please encourage your students to ask questions, even though the questions might be silly. Please don't bother about it. Just encourage them to ask questions. See, only one thing what I can tell is that if you want to master a subject, for that you have to learn, relearn, and then you have to start asking questions. Only through asking questions you can master it. That is the thing. And I think I'm done with it. If you have any questions, you can please ask me.
Well, thank you so much to
Okay, ma'am.
Santosh.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you have discussed many such points which were like missed, or maybe was more on other points. But this is one important thing: lateral thinking. Teaching this concept in your classroom is a great way to help kids develop, problem solving skills, and I said, to think in an innovative way.
Yeah.
It's very important because, as you said, that mugging up was a weapon for the children to mug it up and do the question. So our education system, trains children to memorize, but not
Yeah.
really. We are also working towards change, and it's on. Schools are already working. Teachers are already on it to bring
No,
in this
no,
change
no,
in
the
the
problem is that,
classrooms.
yeah, yeah. No, even those schools, they have started to work upon it. The problem is that the education pattern has to be revamped. See, when I insist on the term innovative thinking should start
Right.
from right from the framing the syllabus. Everything has to
Framing the
be
syllabus.
revamped. Only by doing it, so things will get better. That's what I just want to
Right.
highlight here.
Yeah, you shared your experience, your personal experience. That was nice to hear from you, sir. But to listen from such a person, it's very motivating. I hope it reaches to maximum people and people try to bring in change. It's a critical skill, I would say. It's needed everywhere, even in schools, even at workplace as well. You need to think out of the box, and you have to come across new things to face the challenges every day. It's the everyday thing, and it gives you space to tackle these challenges with a fresh perspective, I think. And that's very, very important. So it was wonderful having you. I think we don't have any questions as of now. If at all anybody would like to ask, they can simply post it in the comment section. And it was lovely having you on this platform, sir. Thank you so much for giving us your time and joining us under this disruptive education movement. Thank you so much.
Thanks to GETI for giving me this wonderful opportunity.
Pleasure is all ours, sir. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.